Embarrassment is an underexplored emotion. Fuck. That is a quote from the philosopher Austin Butler. That shit is so fucking tough. And the first time I heard that, I had a lot of emotions. One of which was, oh my god, Austin Butler just said that. Absolute fucking fire. And the other is that he's so right. There's so much that I have done in my life that I have determined based off of the fact that somebody may judge it, and it's not even like I have any concrete evidence that somebody will do it. It's based off of my belief that somebody may say something, or somebody is thinking this, and they're gonna say it to a million people, and it's gonna become the truth. When has something ever happened where your world is coming down because of something that you did? Even if you make a mistake, right? I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about doing something that you love to do, and then feeling as though there's some, reason not to do it because of somebody's gonna, think this is fucking stupid, or, I shouldn't post or say this, or who gives a fuck? And it's obviously it's so easy to say that, especially coming from me. I've done so much, again, based on what I think people are thinking. There's no evidence ever for any of that. And one thing that I learned is that people don't give a fuck about you. And I mean that in the best possible way. People just don't care what you're doing. They're not thinking, oh my god, he's posting this, he's saying that. You're not the fucking president. You're not Donnie T. You're not, nobody gives a fuck about what you're saying. And use that to your advantage. We're here for only so long. I would like to think that I can go and do something and feel like I did it because of myself. And I'm not 100% there yet. I think this is kind of what this is right here. Getting myself to do things that I would not have done in the past because of what I think other people would think. I used to have a TikTok back in high school. I had like 100-something thousand followers. And I fucking loved it. I was posting shit I loved to post. People were liking it. People were commenting it. I was getting, popularity. Whatever that means, And it felt amazing. It was probably the best feeling in my life. So much validation was coming. And when I was in high school, I got this girlfriend, and it became embarrassing because people were talking about it. Not necessarily even in a negative way. It was just people were talking about it. Period. It would spread to my teachers, and it would fucking, I don't know, like just anybody. And I'm like, I don't want to talk about it. I thought I had my own private thing. I don't even know why I cared. At the time, most of those people were probably jealous of me if they were making fun of me. One, and two, I was doing what I loved to do. I was creating, and I was sharing it, and people were enjoying it. And I just stopped doing it. I threw it all away. I ended up selling that TikTok account to my friend for like $50. It was one of the biggest regrets of my life, not continuing that. But at the same time, I look back at that and I'm like, whatever, I did that. The reason I bring this up is because I let those things interact with my decision making, and it's just not necessary. What's necessary is following what you want to do and what makes you feel good. If sitting in front of this camera makes me feel fucking good, I'm going to keep on doing it. I don't really care what, the outcome is. And I think that's why I'm doing it now. Usually I would do this kind of stuff and record it, expect some kind of outcome to come from it, I'm doing it almost as an outlet. And I think people need to do that more. Just express your fucking self. It's, it's very cliche. It's not like it's some hot take. you know. But who cares what people think? And again, I know that's not a hot take either. But just genuinely feel that for a second and then start doing the things that you love to do, and you might just end up being more happy. You know? There's a good chance that that happens. So explore that embarrassment. Feel that embarrassment. You know, you're going to even have that time where maybe you do something that is embarrassing and you're like, fuck this, I don't want to do this. Or there's going to be times where you do something embarrassing and you're like, who gives a fuck? You know, there's going to be times where it's like up and down. Feelings are not linear. And that's something I've tried to apply to my own thoughts as well. You know, there's going to be times where you're like fucking absolutely off and feeling like you did the wrong thing. And there's going to be times where you feel like you did the right thing, but other people don't. Just do whatever the fuck you want to do. Embrace those feelings. Feel those feelings. That's a great thing. It's like that one quote, you know. Shout out to the Lumineers. It's better to feel pain than nothing at all. You're not always going to be able to afford that emotion, you know? Feel that shit. Because what the fuck else are you going to do? You know, positive and negative. Feel that shit. And allow yourself to get embarrassed. Allow yourself to be sad. Allow yourself to be happy. Explore those emotions. Embarrass yourself.